Hello and welcome to this special presentation of DD India. In the next half an hour, we're going to tell you everything about the historic Ram Temple movement, how it happened, when it happened. Prodhimani Jagannatham, Sarvaloka Namaskritam, Kausalya Janayadam, Ramam Divya Lakshan Sanyutam. As per Ramayana, Shlok number 10, Kausalya gave birth to a son who was the lord of the whole world. He was a person adored by all the people. He was invested with divine symptoms. It was not a birth of an ordinary man. Ayodhya was blessed with the arrival of the Lord of the whole world. Ayodhya, formerly known as Saket, has a rich heritage that dates back to the 5th or 6th century BC. Situated on the banks of Sarayu River, Ayodhya has attracted pilgrims, historians and tourists who are fascinated by its mythology and historical roots. According to Hindu mythology, Ayodhya is the capital of the ancient Kausal kingdom and the birthplace of Lord Ram. It was ruled by King Ikshvaku, Prithu, Mandatha, Harishchandra, Sagar, Bhagirath, Raghu, Dilip, Dashrath, and then Lord Ram were among the illustrious rulers who ruled over Kausal Desh's capital. And this is how the Ram Mandir finds its mythical roots in the Ramayana that narrates the life and adventures of Lord Ram, the 7th avatar of Lord Vishnu. Owing to the belief as the birthplace of Bhagwan Sri Ram, Avadhpuri or Ayodhya has been regarded as first one of the 7 most important pilgrimage sites for Hindus. Hence, the association of Ayodhya with Lord Ram's birth transforms the city into a sacred pilgrimage site for devotees seeking to connect with the divine and has been termed as Janmabhoomi, a Sanskrit word that translates to birthplace. Devotees consider this location to be particularly auspicious, and eventually it became the focal point of a significant historical and religious importance in later centuries. Ramayana presents many evidences that Ayodhya belongs to Lord Ram. However, Ayodhya have not been the same as always. It's been a battle of 500 old years, battle of faith and battle of justice, and it all began in the 1800s. The first case was filed in January 1885 by Mahant Raghubir Das, seeking permission to construct a temple on Chabutra's outside the disputed land, and that was eventually dismissed by Faizabad court. The disputed land then remained in suspension until the night of the 22nd of December in the year 1949, when few of the devotees installed an idol of Lord Ram. Eventually, the Hindus started praying at the temple. In 1950, 2 suits were filed in Faizabad court seeking permission to conduct Hindu pujas to Ram Lala. The court granted the parties permission to conduct pujas. Eventually, in 1961, Uttar Pradesh's Sunni Waqf Board filed a suit seeking possession of the disputed land. They also demanded the removal of Ram idol. And after 23 years, in the year 1984, the Ram Janmabhoomi movement took full steam.
Several petitions were filed when the case was there at the Allahabad High Court. From there, the case moved to Supreme Court of India, which is in New Delhi, and the final verdict was given by the Supreme Court of India in the year 2019.
30th September 2010. Based on the Archaeological Survey of India's report that was presented in the High Court along with several other evidences, the High Court of Allahabad came out with a judgment. The High Court delivered its judgment, dividing the land between three parties. The judgment stated that 1/3 of the land would go to the Sunni Waqf Board, 1/3 to the Nirmohi Akhada, and 1/3 to Ram Lala Virajman. And in this way, the High Court held a split 2:1 verdict that the Hindu and Muslim parties were the joint holders of the disputed premises. Each of them were held entitled to 1/3 of the disputed property. The Nirmohi Akhada was granted the remaining 1/3. The Allahabad High Court verdict was not accepted by the parties and they appealed the Supreme Court to contest the decision. All the parties then filed appeals claiming various rights over the disputed land. The Supreme Court then stayed the Allahabad High Court judgment. On the 9th of May in the year 2011, a two-judge bench of the Supreme Court admitted several appeals and stayed the operation of the judgment and decree of the Allahabad High Court. On the 10th of September in the year 2013 and on the 24th of February in the year 2014, then on 31st of October 2015 and 11th of August 2017, the Supreme Court issued directions for summoning the digital record of the evidence and pleadings from the Allahabad High Court and for also furnishing translated copies to the parties. Eventually, on the 10th of August in the year 2015, a three-judge bench of the Supreme Court allowed the Commissioner, Faizabad Division, to replace the old and worn-out tarpaulin sheets over the makeshift structure under which the idols were placed with new sheets of the same size and quality. And by an administrative order dated the 8th of January in the year 2019, this made pursuant to the provisions of Order Number 6, Rule Number 1 of the Supreme Court Rules 2013, the Chief Justice of India constituted a 5-judge bench to hear the appeals. And on the 26th of February in the year 2019, the Supreme Court referred the parties to a court appointed and monitored mediation to explore the possibility of bringing about a permanent solution to the issues raised in the appeals. The final arguments were concluded in the batch of appeals on the 16th of October in the year 2019. On the same day, the mediation panel submitted a report titled stating that a settlement had been arrived by some of the parties to the present dispute. But since Sunni Waqf Board did not fulfill the certain conditions, the settlement was eventually not considered by Supreme Court of India. And on the 9th of November 2019, in deciding the title to the disputed property, the court applied settled principles of evidence to adjudicate upon which the party has established a claim to the immovable property. The Supreme Court in its conclusion on the title said that on the balance of probabilities, there is clear evidence to indicate that the worship by the Hindus in the outer courtyard continued unimpeded in spite of the setting up of a krill brick wall in 1857. Their position of the outer courtyard stands established together with the incidents attaching to their control over it. As regards the inner courtyard, there is evidence on a preponderance of probabilities to establish worship by the Hindus prior to the annexation of Awadh by the British in the year 1857. The Supreme Court further highlighted
that the Muslims have offered no evidence to indicate that they were in exclusive possession of the inner structure prior to 1857, since the date of the construction in the 16th century. The Supreme Court directed in its final decision and granted 2.77 acre of disputed land in Ayodhya to deity Ram Lalla. The judgment further stated that the central government shall, within a period of 3 months from the date of this judgment, formulate a scheme pursuant to the powers vested in it under Section 6 and 7 of the Acquisition of Certain Area at Ayodhya Act 1993. The scheme to be framed by the central government shall make necessary provisions in regard to the functioning of the trust or body, including on matters relating to the management of the trust, the powers of the trustees, including the construction of a temple, and all necessary, incidental and supplemental matters. It also stated that the possession of the inner and the outer courtyards shall be handed over to the Board of Trustees of the Trust or to the body so constituted. The judgment further stated that possession of the disputed property shall continue to vest in the statutory receiver under the central government until, in exercise of its jurisdiction under Section 6 of the Ayodhya Act of 1993, a notification is issued vesting the property in the trust or other body. And simultaneously with the handing over of the disputed property to the trust or body under Clause 2 above, a suitable plot of land at measuring 5 acres that shall be handed over to the Sunni Central Waqf Board. And in this way, the Supreme Court of India came out with the judgment led by Justice Gogoi. And Supreme Court of India ruled in favor of Ram Janmabhoomi, or the Ram Temple of the holy city of Ayodhya. It was a long battle, fought for over 500 years, and finally the verdict came. In the year 2020, Uttar Pradesh Sunni Central Waqf Board accepted the 5 acres allotted land to it by the state government for building a mosque in Thanipur village of Sohawal Tehsil in Ayodhya. Soon after the Supreme Court's judgment, the Union Cabinet approved the formation of Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust to construct the Ram Temple. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the Lok Sabha. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been a key figure all throughout the Ram Temple movement, right from the time when he was just a Karyakarta till the time when he became the Prime Minister of India. Prime Minister Modi played a key role in the entire Ram Temple movement. From being a charioteer cum organizer of BJP's senior party leader L.K. Advani's Rath and his countrywide Rath Yatra in the 1990s, to collecting bricks donated by people from thousands of villages from the states across the nation for the proposed Ram Temple, Prime Minister Narendra Modi always believed that Ram Temple in Ayodhya, the birthplace of Lord Ram, was a must. As a Swayam Sevak in Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, or the RSS, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's involvement spans nearly 6 decades, dating back to the 1970s. Many small and big yatras were conducted throughout India for awakening and revivalism. In the year 1989, during the Ram Shila Pujan ceremony, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as the then Karyakarta or party worker, undertook a tour across the villages in Gujarat and collected bricks for the construction of Ram Temple. During the Ram Janmabhoomi movement in 1990s, Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered several fiery and thought-provoking speeches in Gujarat. One such speech, titled Lok Adalat Ma Ayodhya, resonated so well with the public that the speech was recorded and thousands of cassettes copies were sold to people to listen to it again and again.
जन्मभूमि मंदिर परज राम जन्मभूमि बनशे राम जन्म स्थान परज राम जन्मभूमि मंदिर बनशे दुनिया नी कोई ताकत राम मंदिर बनता का फिनिश।
In the year 1990, in the month of September, the Somnath Ayodhya Ram Yatra, led by then BJP senior party leader L.K. Advani, commenced. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the then Gujarat BJP's General Secretary, played a crucial role as the charioteer for the Gujarat leg of the Yatra. Throughout the Yatra's passage across 600 villages in Gujarat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi remained on fasting because of Navratris and ate nothing and sustained himself solely on water. In the year 1991, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad organized a big rally at the Boat Club in Delhi to support the Ayodhya movement. Interestingly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was also there in the crowd as a volunteer for Ram Janmabhoomi movement. Prime Minister Narendra Modi travelled to villages to gather signatures in support of building a Ram temple in Ayodhya between February 1993 and June 1993. Then, a total of 10 crore signatures were collected in favour of the cause, which is building the Ram temple. I will come back only when the construction of the Ram temple begins, declared Prime Minister Narendra Modi during the Ekta Yatra in 1992. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the then Chief Minister of Gujarat from the year 2001 to 2014, always supported the construction of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya and always held the notion that the temple would strengthen national unity.
ये विषय है अयोध्या में श्री राम जन्मस्थली पर।
In February 2020, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced in the Lok Sabha that the government had given its approval to the proposal for Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra.
श्री राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ क्षेत्र ट्रस्ट का नाम होगा श्री राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ क्षेत्र। श्री राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ क्षेत्र का गठन करने का प्रस्ताव पारित किया गया है। ये ट्रस्ट अयोध्या में भगवान श्री राम की जन्मस्थली पर भव्य और दिव्य श्री राम मंदिर के निर्माण और उससे संबंधित विषयों पर निर्णय लेने के लिए पूर्ण रूप से स्वतंत्र होगा।
In August 2020, Prime Minister Narendra Modi eventually visited Ayodhya after 29 years.
ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि श्री राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ क्षेत्र ट्रस्ट ने मुझे आमंत्रित किया, इस ऐतिहासिक पल का साक्षी बनने का अवसर दिया। मैं इसके लिए हृदयपूर्वक श्री राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ क्षेत्र ट्रस्ट का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और आना बड़ा स्वाभाविक भी था, क्योंकि राम काज किनु बिनु मोहि कहां बिसरा। पूरे भक्ति भाव से बोलिए, सियापति रामचंद्र की, सियापति रामचंद्र की, सियापति रामचंद्र की।
22nd of January will be etched in the books of history. So what are you waiting for? Come and visit Ayodhya, the beautiful city of Lord Ram. Thank you so much for joining us and watching this special presentation of DD India. Namaskar.